From what we see in religion, the religious madness in this country, I am coming to the church, but then because pastor has said one or two that I don't agree with, I'm going to open my church. Or if I have felt like I have grown enough, I cannot be junior pastor anymore, I want to be senior pastor, I'm opening my church, and then I name it blah, 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 a whole sentence. Is this not the same way? Because how is it possible to convince 60 million Kenyans, but you can't convince maybe a political party leadership of 10 people who probably sits as central committee, who makes serious decision on behalf of that party? You can't convince those 10 people that your idea is the greatest. Okay. But you are going full throttle with 10 million plus and all those processes to register a party to convince 60 million Kenyans, and you think that is easier than convincing 10 people who are in the helm of party leadership. Tell me how that makes sense.
I will close the debate.
Linda,
let's allow for former to close
society,
yes.
And I appreciate the fact that every citizen is entitled to be a member of a political party as by the provisions of Article 38 of the Constitution. Those are political rights. But unfortunately, there are some individuals who have been written off as far as the political leadership of this country is concerned. And in the name of them trying to get back into leadership through the back door, they're coming up with these initiatives of forming political parties. Those are just some political games trying to get back into leadership through the back door. But owning a party or organizing, let me not talk about ownership because it's supposed to be a democratic institution. Having a party or being a member of a party or being a leader in a party, like I've seen my friend Ben Mulwa is the Secretary General of that new party, is a good thing. Is a good thing for as long as your intentions are towards advancing the democratic gains of the country. And I believe Maliba's party stands for that. Yeah. I want to believe so. And for as long as that's the objective, then there's no problem with somebody coming up with a political party or organizing or mobilizing people to rally behind them.
Maliba,
Number one, Article 38.
On that. And I'm surprised that this gentleman you have been with on set a couple of times, you have not even sold your agenda to them.
Let me start with this, Linda. It is actually a political right. Article 38 of the Constitution allows us to form and be members of any political party. Yes. So you do not then question the right of any Kenyan. Even if, Linda, you started Linda and Daughter's political party, if RGC, if RPP decides to actually grant you registration, you have a right. And you see, you cannot compare the religious freedoms and the political freedom. There's a reason why they are separate. Here, my friend Meshach, for example, worships on Saturday. I come from the school of thought, the religious school of thought, that is madness. But he has a right to worship on Saturday the way he does. So if I started questioning him based on that, really we will start fighting and I will be trampling on his rights.
Yes.
But somehow when it comes to political parties, we only have got 92 political parties as of yesterday. We've got fully registered parties, 92 only. And then these guys are weeping here as if we have got as many as CBOs. They are few, yet these guys cannot count for you 10 political parties. They don't know. Because the business of running a political party is difficult. Because the business of governing is not as easy as people want to run around with. So, when you say that we hope they are about that, the process of registering a political party is as national as it goes. You have to have a constitution that is actually national. RPP will take you through so many rounds until it actually gets there. You have to go there and defend your ideology. And you know, we have got as many ideologies as our noses. As in, everybody has, so long as it's in the constitution, it is a right. We should not. In fact, the political parties regime is constricting. They've made it so difficult for people to democratically be able to exercise Article 38. If we were real, we would not be having the kind of restrictions RPP and Parliament have done to ensure that registration of a political party is difficult. So it's much harder than it should be. To enjoy Article 38, we need to actually make it much easier. It's not easy. That is why not everyone is making it.
And in the spirit of multi-partyism, we have extended it further.
The fact that we can't count 10, is that not good reason enough not to have them?
It's actually a problem.
It is a problem. If we can't even count 10,
let's talk about coalition.
If I'm the Kenyan
in this era of coalition,
discussing politics and I can't count more than 10.
Listen to this measure.
It is a problem, a big one.
And this advances the conversation to that level of coalitions, and that we are at a state where, you know, coalitions go. more than individual parties.
Yes.
And therefore, I would actually love to invite him again. But of course, we come to this conversation first on the question of coalitions and what it is that the president is doing right now, and basically the united opposition. Somebody says that we might not need to look far. We still have the options for 2027 in the broad-based government, basically the government of the day, and also the united opposition. Do you suppose it is the case? Because then he will be telling us whether he intends to have his party under a certain coalition of an umbrella, or maybe his party is already under a certain coalition or a certain arrangement with other parties.
The truth is, since 2002, we ushered ourselves into a new setup. And there is never going to be an election in this country anytime soon when one political party will go to the ballot alone and win government. Okay. It is always going to be coalition, and that is obvious. Even in 2027, those coalitions are beginning to form now. So just like everybody else have got the right to form political parties or join political parties, the same right applies for those political parties to be part of whichever coalition. They call them like-minded parties. And so it is a lie if anybody says my party or this party is too popular and can go all the way alone to the ballot and win election in this country. Right now, it has to be coalition with other parties. And so that is basically what the president is alive to. He's trying to ensure that whatever broad-based arrangement under the 10-point agenda does not end in 2027 as it was presented to Kenyans. Because before the late Prime Minister Raila Odinga left, the conversation and the position had always been, we are in arrangement of broad-based and we are working until 2027 between ODM and UDA and other parties within the Kenya Kwanza. So according to the state of things, it is clear and it is seen. The president is trying to ensure that broad-based does not end in 2027 and the broad-based gives birth to a coalition that can help him get enough votes to get his second term. That is what is going on in his corner. And on this other side, there are gentlemen and lady. I don't know whether there are two, but still we only know one, lady and gentleman, who are coming up with united opposition. How united, we still don't know, because there are some extreme figures there. You know, Kalonzo is extremely a gentleman, while Rigathi is extremely on the opposite, but still claiming they are deeply united. And sometimes it makes Kalonzo look weird and funny. For example, the other time when Rigiji went to celebrate in Kariobangi, and he says, we have agreed with Wiper and Nairobi is ours. Our people are the businessmen and women in this city. Then Kalonzo goes to Cumberland and he doesn't know what to tell his people, and he says, there are some people who are trying to create rift between me and Rigiji. And it is Rigiji who said. So I'm seeing two extreme far-end people who are telling Kenyans they are deeply united, and you wonder how united is this union.
Opposition. But of course, we also are wondering how united it is that ODM as well as UDA are, because of course there are some new intrigues coming into this. And as we come to a close, just how united and how important is it for the president to ensure that he brings on board a lot of many other parties? Because as it stands, they say in the mountain, he's in the business of playing divide and rule.
Linda, you said it correctly, that coalitions will come together on the basis of like-mindedness. And I've seen the great divide between the two coalitions. If you look at what the president is trying to put together, it's something that is based on reaching out to all citizens to feel part and parcel of the government, and has been incorporating all parts of the country into his development program. It is juxtaposed against what the so-called united opposition say. I call it, the other day I said that, and Honorable Kirwa was here, he didn't like it. But it is so-called because it's not truly united. Because you see the agenda, like your leader has clearly stated, The other day, Gachagua went on TV and said that you'll take 16 parliamentary seats in Nairobi.